Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to another special edition of FOW101 with Matt. Couple quick announcements. I know a lot of you might know this. We were supposed to do a 600 sub giveaway. We are getting to that. I just don't want to steal the thunder from the US page. So the admins are putting together a whole another special giveaway. Make sure you check that out. If you're not on the Facebook page yet, definitely go to it's Force of Will US. Find us there, and we'll always be helpful. I post a ton of deck lists in there for you guys too to check out. So. What do we got? The last ruler discussion for you guys. With Darkness, Cthulhu, all the big fatty creatures. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it and get into the ruler. So on the left here, we have Feen of the Dark Pyre. No real abilities, just a 0. But that 0 is actually pretty strong, it turns out. Play this ability only if you put a Cthulhu into play, or into field this turn. So, mind you, this can be played from your hand, it can be from the graveyard. So any way that you get a Cthulhu Resonator into play, into the field zone, he's going to flip. So what does he flip into? Nyarlathotep, Nyarlathotep Popcorn, Nyarlathotep Step. I don't care what you call this guy. Big Cthulhu dude. So his enter is your opponent banishes a non-Cthulhu Resonator. Yeah, edicts or sacrificing effects for your opponent are pretty good, it turns out. And especially as you'll see, I have a special bonus for you guys at the end. If you're playing a lot of Stoning to Deaths or Hoster, you're really going to be able to get out of the way of their annoying creatures, so that when you flip him, you'll get out their biggest resonator or their biggest threat. And, it doesn't target, so if hexproof becomes a bigger thing, it's going to be really important. But then it's continuous, as this card's attack is equal to the total attack of Cthulhu Resonators you control. So really quick, and I'll get into Yogg a little bit more into this. So if you have only Yogg in the field, Yogg is a 1500-1500, so you'll have a 1500-1500 and a 1500-1200. So that's 3,000 power of damage with two things in the field. That's all you need. Yeah, can you just imagine if you have 2 Yoggs, or just it adds up very, very quickly. So yeah, I definitely think this is the ruler that you want to be using for game 1. It's very strong. The fact that it has just above that 1,000 defense body is also super relevant. It's going to at least block favorably with 90% of the J rulers. Only 2 off my top. The head is Joan of Arc is a 12/12, so that would trade in some instances, or at least have Jean die as well. And then there's Bloody Snow White, who might live if somehow you don't have a Yogg on the field or something of that nature. So I love this. And then if you just look at this artwork, A Fiend of the Dark Pyre, I absolutely love it. I mean, both of them are so nice to see in actual card form. So if you guys don't have the chance to get your hands on these 2 specifically, or this 1 card I should say specifically yet, check it out. The foiling is so nice. But, when we're talking about all the things Cthulhu, we should talk about some creatures as well. Before I get into the creatures, though, let's talk about Black Moon. So if you just remember, I discussed that to flip Fiend of the Dark Pyre, you get to flip it for 0 if you put a Cthulhu into the field. Does not say from hand, does not care how you get there. So, Black Moon. At the beginning of your main phase, put target Cthulhu non-spell card from your graveyard into your field. It gains swiftness until end of turn. If it would leave field this turn, remove it from the game instead. At the end of your turn, remove it from the game. So, what does this do? So on turn 3, we get to play Yogg, which happens more times than you would ever believe. Let's say they meet it with Stoning to Death. Next turn, you can play Black Moon. You won't get anything back that turn. But then on your next turn, you get to attack with a 1500-1500 swiftness with piercing Yogg, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. It does have that one downside of continuous. When it gets put in the graveyard, you lose 1,000 life, Black Moon. Guess what? You really don't care. This deck is very, very punishing, that if you're, if they don't have a stoning, a Yogg is going to close the game really quickly for you. If they don't have 1,001 stories, they insert premium removal here. So these cards are really focused on just hard-hitting creatures as fast as you can. So if you lose a game because Black Moon got destroyed, you're probably going to lose that game anyways, it turns out. So Black Moon has been a very strong card, one that I really like seeing in the deck. Staple of lore, this deck, everything. Yogg the Dark Myth. Incarnation, so a quick note about that if you're not familiar. It says dark, fire dark, fire dark. So to summon Yogg, you can either pay 3 darkness and 5 void, or you can banish 3 creatures, one of which must be darkness, and then the other 2 resonators must be fire dark or fire dark. And that is how you really get to cheat this into play as early as turn 3. And what's great is, if whatever 1-drop you have, let's say they don't play a 1-drop or a 2-drop, you can get those free beats of damage in, sacrifice those resonators, put in Yogg. Chances are you are going to lose them anyways, because if let's say the incarnation cost was cheaper, when Yogg comes into play, destroy all Resonators with total cost, sorry, 2 or less. That part is insane, it turns out. You know, unfortunately, it only happens when you play from your hand, so Black Moon doesn't give you that enter ability, but kills Little Prince, kills Cinderella, kills Cheshire Cats, kills Sinbad, kills Morgana. It does a lot, it turns out. So that you know, mini Wrath, or Consume the Meek is the Magic Gathering equivalent, is just an absolutely great enter ability to have on this beast of a guy. So definitely favorite cards. Another, just the art looks amazing, and I have all the love in the world for Yogg, and I definitely think that's a card that, you know, in not all metas is it going to be like the best deck to play, but I mean, this is something I was brewing up against a couple decks, and yeah, it just destroys very quickly. And then lastly, we have Bayaki, the Winged Lady. She's a flying resonator with 900 body. She has a double darkness incarnation, so definitely a lot more restrictive, and it does hurt a little bit, but her activate ability is a really awesome one. Target resonator gains 900 and flying until end of turn. Unfortunately, when that resonator is destroyed this turn, banish this card as well. So basically, you get to throw one of your resonators on Bayaki's back, and they go flying. Awesome. But one of the things to really note about this is you play Bayaki, pass, goes to your draw step. You can tap her to give her self plus 900 on tap, swing with her that turn. So if you're playing this on turn 3, you're hitting for 18 flying, or 1800, excuse me, flying at your opponent. They're probably not going to have a flying resonator to block that. So you're going to take out a huge chunk of their life total instantly. And the fact that it's a 9/9, they're not going to have a comparable, you know, resonator that's going to be able to trade with it, you know, too efficiently that early in the game, or you just play a Hoster. You have all these other chump blockers that are going to protect her anyways. Really cute thing to note too is if you play her in Crimson Girl, you can give literally any other resonator on your board plus 3600 in flying. You're probably dead in a turn. So that's a deck list I want to put together sometime in the future, and I think it's just a really fun combo. Thankfully, it's only a 2-card combo, so it's not, you know, it borderlines the too cute line. But I definitely think it's worth, you know, if someone out there, please brew that for me. I will give you all the credit in the world. It's a pretty awesome list, but Crimson Girl and Bayaki, I'm sure, is just going to be ringing in the salt train for quite a bit. So these are just some of the main staple cards you see that there's a lot more room to grow in this deck. I think there's a lot of different ways you can take it. Honorable mentions would be Hound of Tyndalis, I believe it's called. That definitely goes in more of a mid-range list. You have Shub for the reanimate factor. There's a lot of great cards that you can put into this. And to close this out, I do have this little special at the end. So a lot of people have been asking me for a Cthulhu list originally, and this is one that I built. It's just a shell I threw together. I've only got to play it for a day, but I was really happy with the consistency of it and just the power level, the pure hitting power this deck has been quite surprising. And, you know, I've had quite a few people that have reached out to me saying, hey man, I tried your Cthulhu list, it went undefeated, it only lost a round. You know, people have been having success with this deck. So thank you to all the people who have been trying it out and, you know, basically doing the testing for me while I've been trying to put together other decks for everyone. It's very much appreciated. So a couple of closing notes here. Again, thank you guys for all the love and support the community has shown us. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave us some comments. We always get back to you as soon as we can. The 600 sub giveaway will be, we'll make another announcement about that next week. We will have some pretty awesome stuff for you guys. And always make sure you check out the Force of Will US Facebook page as well. I post a ton of deck lists in there for everyone to check out. And then lastly, if you guys have any questions or just want to drop us an email about this or that, always feel free to email us at ggforceofwill@gmail.com. So coming up next for you guys, we'll have some more, we'll go back to live testing videos. We're going to do some card discussion, and we have some really other awesome things coming up with Force of Will 101. So hope you guys enjoyed this, the last of the ruler discussion. You know, Cthulhu is definitely a flavor home run for me, and I'm really glad to see this in the set. And I hope to see you guys next time on Force of Will 101.